Chelsea nil, Man City 3. Jamie, let's start with you. You were there in the away end. What are you making this result? It was utter domination. I'm sorry, but it was. And you've got to think that City are soon to be champions.
Let's the champions part. Let's not go get too ahead. We are 6 points behind, but this is a statement win because you're winning 3-0 away to any of the sort of big six clubs or top six, whatever you want to sort of call them, is a huge statement win. But to do it after Arsenal had lost the sort of the day before makes it a bigger win because you need to do that when you see the teams in front of you who you're fighting against slip up. You have to do it in them sort of games. That's how you become champions. You have to go off. If they make a small mistake, you do it. You get into it. But talking about the game, domination for the second half, I totally agree. I think the first half was fairly even. There wasn't too many big chances. Cucurella's probably had the biggest chance, but that was offside when he put it in the back of the net. I think Sanchez made one or two saves, and I think Donnarumma made one save. So nothing massive in that. And I think at half time you're thinking, right, okay, we like one goal in this could settle it, whether that was City or Chelsea. But the way we came out in the second half, that first sort of 10 minutes after it, we went right. We've stepped up. We're stepping up a gear, and then we just caught. I think we caught Chelsea off guard. To be honest, in the second half, I think they're expecting the same level, and we just stepped it up a gear. And the first goal was sort of it was just like O'Reilly. That's like O'Reilly's trademark goal, coming in slightly. Sort of, you're not expecting him to be there since he's meant to be a left back and winning that header to put us 1-0 up. And if you look and saw it, I saw it sort of like directly below me. You could see Haaland had got two of the other Chelsea defenders bothered by him in the back post, and that's what Haaland can do, even without touching the ball. He does drag people out. So brilliant sort of start from the second half, and I think from there we just never let Chelsea get going. It's sort of like normally you might go right, we'll sit back for a bit because we're away, but no, we just kept going, kept going. Brilliant ball from Cherky, giving Guehi, who's got tons of space in the box somehow, and it was quite a brilliant finish. To be honest, I'd be very happy if my striker does that, let alone my centre back scoring his first goal for the club. So brilliant with that, and Chelsea just weren't in it after that. We were doing Olays around, and I think Caicedo was massively at fault for the third goal, and he was just being lazy. Like he switched off, kind of thought the game's over, just going through the motions, and we nick it off him and put it in the back of the net. So brilliant performance, and yeah, I think this is a big statement win for us.
Absolutely agreed. I mean, Jordan, I wanted to ask you second. I'm not even going to ask you a question, but because I want to let you just let your feelings out. You've made it clear, that Chelsea, regardless of the title race on City perspective, which we'll talk about, touch upon in a little while, it's all about Chelsea doing their job today because, you have something that you also have to fight for. Are there positives to take? Or come on, let's just hear what you say because it's a deflated Stamford Bridge at the moment.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough in there. I think for half the game, we did everything right, other than score. Cucurella again, marginally offside. Neto did well, had a good chance. Um, first half, you have absolutely no issues. I, excuse me. I watched that. I'm thinking, all right, I'm feeling a bit positive about the game. I think we could nick it. And then I'm going, if we put in this kind of level against one of the teams we've got in the last six games, I think we'll be fine. And then we come out, and once again, as we've done time and time again this season, we throw away the points in a matter of what, 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and then 2-0 down to potentially the soon to be champions. You've got no hope. Like you can't. It's just you felt. Excuse me. You felt like the belief had gone after that. When you can see two goals so quickly, I don't know. I don't know what's happening, and it's not just this game, but we're in a bad way at the minute where there's a bit of negativity. Plus, it looks like some of the players don't believe at the minute.
That was going to be my next question. I mean, first of all, your background looks like what the ground was like in 60 minutes. But what is it? Is it a coaching thing? Is it a player thing? Is it a bit of both thing? Because the fans immediately they knew they were cooked. But what do you think it is? Is it a bit of both? I don't know, because Rossini's under a lot of pressure right now.
Yeah, look, he's under a lot of pressure, right? You look at our form, last 5 games in the Prem, 4 losses out of 5, arguably relegation form. In fact, no one really is in, other than Burnley and Spurs. No one's really in that kind of form. So suddenly, for us, you look at the league table, right? Scroll down. You've got the top 5. We're in 6th. We're 4 points off 5th now. We're apparently in the Champions League race, but now we're 4 points off Liverpool, who are terrible and have been terrible. Suddenly, you look down the table. Hold on. We're 6 points off 14th. We're 6 points off 14th place in the Prem. And it's amazing how quickly the narrative and everything can change. But my God, yeah, we'll get into that momentarily. But in terms of to answer your question, yes, Rosini's under pressure. I think it's a combination of everything. It's a combination of a couple of bad results, new manager coming in mid-season, and maybe players not fully believing in him yet. It's the vice captain being suspended. It's all this negative noise at the minute that we just don't need coming together at once, and it does have an impact because it has an impact on the fans. Fans, again, I know there's a section of the fans. We'll call them fans. I don't really think anyone in Stamford Bridge today wanted us to lose. I think idiots online wanted us to lose for a bit of online clout, which is pathetic. But other than that, like the fans behind the players, but at 2-0, belief was gone. At 3-0, the stadium, I don't want to say cleared out, but a lot of people left because there was no hope we were going to come back. And they were right to leave, to be honest, because I stayed to the end. I didn't really see anything.
Mm.
So it's a tough position at the minute.
I think this is it with Chelsea at the moment, isn't it? Is when you've got such a young squad, it's very hard to get the mentality right. I look at, as soon as I didn't see them winning anyway. I thought if they would have got a goal early on, they might have been able to push it. But this game wasn't even a free hit. As you said, they're 4 points behind. And I don't ever agree with that sentiment that fans want to lose. I mean, some will, but I think they need to understand that football can come round very quickly. I remember Spurs fans celebrating against Man City. Arsenal now play West Ham in a few weeks. What goes around comes around, right? Arsenal could very much do West Ham a favour if they want. Well, I mean, let's be honest, they're going to. But they how it can be so cruel. So that's why I don't ever encourage that kind of behaviour. But it's still disappointing. I mean, but let's not take it away from City, Jamie, who were superb, like you said. Any standout performers, or how much of a big win was this for you? Because everyone saw this as the potential banana skin on the route.
Yeah, I did too, to be honest, because Chelsea sort of. I've always said they can beat the big teams and then they'll slip up to a Burnley, a Brighton, as someone who's sort of like, you go, yeah, Chelsea should probably win today. And then when they play a team like City, you go, City are better than you, but actually we sort of come out of our shell and perform well. I think it didn't help Chelsea with James out, Enzo suspended in a way, like the club only suspended. But from our point of view, I thought Doku, Semenyo were very, very good. Cherky was pretty much allowed to do what he wanted. If Cherky was like, you know what, I'm going to go on the left, who can go on the left? On the right, allowed to on the right. And to be honest, when you've got a player who floats around like that and has the sort of ability he does, it is hard to do anything about it. But he was allowed to do it, and I thought he was allowed to do it with pretty much ease. I think you then have to. I'd probably say all the back four were really, really good, because I don't really think Chelsea challenged us that much. I think O'Reilly obviously with the goal, Guehi with the goal as well, and I think Kusanov needs to get a bit more plaudits, because this was the fixture. Maybe not. It was at home. Was his first fixture where people seem to remember him having a bad 10, 15 minutes where he conceded, got booked. It was looking like a terrible sort of start. But today, I thought every sort of 50-50 he had, he won. And it was also actually better progressing the ball and passing it. So I think he deserves, and you saw if you saw at the end, Haaland was pushing Cushion off to the fans to let him get his plaudits because we as fans we love him. We think he's a real good player, and it could be an absolute superstar. Well, technically he is a superstar from Uzbekistan, from what I've heard about what it's like back for him at home. But he could be an actually well-known superstar for how good of a defender I think he could be. I'm not saying he is yet, but he could really be. So I think he deserves a big plaudits from it.
Yeah, he's been magnificent in my opinion. Everyone remembers his ropey start. But one thing I love about Pep is he knows they'll turn good, and he has turned good. I remember Johnny Stones early on in his City career had a bit of a nightmare. Turned out to be one of the best centre backs the league has probably ever seen, or at least City have ever had.
Yeah,
So
and Pep.
great,
To be fair to Pep, he will defend the players. Because I remember the Stones one.
of
He
course.
said his words were, he's got bigger balls than everyone sitting in this room. It was in a press conference, kind of thing. So he will back the players, and I think as a manager, you can't, go, oh, yeah, he's crap, can you? But he defended him, and I think he's done the same with Kusanov. Maybe he went out the team for a while at the end of last season, and I think that's helped him, giving him time to adapt. So yeah,
Yeah,
he's been really good, I think.
he's been a superstar, and I mean, Uzbekistan's Beckham, I suppose. Uzbekistan. There we go. That's his nickname. Um, I'll just leave it there. Um, and Jordan, any particular performances from you? I'll start with the positives. Any good positive performances before you talk about any pretty poor performances, if there were any?
Neto did okay in the first half. João
Lovely,
Pedro,
lovely passing.
yeah. Look, I like Neto. He got a lot of stick earlier in the season. Again, people who don't really watch or understand football. I thought he looked sharp in the first half. Um, and João Pedro, I'd say as well. Um, Unbelievable player. I think he's, irrespective of how poor we've been lately over the course of the season, I feel like he's still not getting the credit from other people. Like Chelsea fans know he's a baller, but I don't hear a lot of noise about how good he is from other fans. So I think he's a sort of, I'd argue he's one of the signings of the season, but no one really talks about him. And if he was on pens, like, Haaland, Igor, Thiago, I think the conversation narrative would be different. So again, he looked sharp today, skillful. It's a shame Cucurella was offside, man, because that assist would have been lovely. Little bit of skill, beat a few players, lovely pass, but look, it is what it is. But outside of that, no, is the answer. There wasn't any real standouts for me.
What about what do you make of Rossinia's performance in this game, whether it was tactics, substitutions, or same old currently under him?
It, it's a tough one to analyze because again, I like the team he's put out. The first half was fine, and if one of those chances goes in, you're saying we've done brilliantly. So it's it's a really tough one because it's easy to just go, Rosini's out of his depth, get rid of him. That's the lazy answer, in my opinion. Again, I don't know. Is it his fault we just collapsed for 10 minutes in the second half? I don't know. I don't. It's a tough one because you can't just keep blaming hit. Like if players aren't showing up, players aren't putting the effort. Palmer today, poor. Not just him. Like I'm not going to use him as a scapegoat, but the players were sloppy. Like, is that Rosini's fault that they can't complete a 5 yard pass at times? I don't know. It's a tough one.
You,
It's
you
got to
say
start
that,
at the
Jordan,
top of
though, but I don't think you're. I don't think anyone at Chelsea is a fan of his because we spoke to sort of like we spoke to a few on the tube, and we said, "Would you make of a senior?" And they were basically like, "I want him out now already," and these are match going fans for it. And to be honest, you've put in the group chat before we've jumped on, going, "Let's get Fabregas in." So I don't know if
Yeah, no.
anyone at the club, like fans wise, actually is backing him because I don't think you expect him to do well.
If I can
Really?
interject there as well, I think people. the issue they've got is Chelsea is such a big club. Okay, they've had the Jose Mourinho's, they've had, the Ancelottis, they've had the Antonio Contes, they've had the big names. So when they go down this route, a modern route, an unproven, untapped, because I will be honest with you, I do like him a lot, but people need to forget that Derby still let him go, Hull let him go, because Hull backed him quite considerably. Strasbourg, he was doing a good job, not outstanding, but it was a good, steady job. As soon as he's come into there, the questions are asked, the atmosphere, the negativity is all around immediately. Sometimes you're on a hiding for nothing. I felt Russell Martin at Rangers had that treatment, particularly as well. So I think immediately he's on a hiding to nothing. But is he proving them wrong?
N results are not proving people wrong. That's the issue.
Yeah.
And look, Rosini's an intelligent guy. He's said this himself. He knows that. But it's really hard because I think he's, to your point, I'm saying about Fabregas. If Fabregas is available in the summer, I'd take him because I think personally he is going to be one of the next big coaches, right? I think he's a sort of, a Pep of the future. Very bold statement to say, but that's an early shout. We'll see how that works in the next decade. But
Let's clip that.
what I'm saying is that's my personal opinion. I rate him probably a bit highly. You can say it's too early. I don't want Rosini sacked right now, but at the moment, you're looking at our positioning and you're going, something's going to have to happen at some point. So it's a really, like, I don't dislike the guy. I think he speaks well. I do think he is an intelligent coach and he will be a good coach. But right now, I actually don't know if he's going to be successful at Chelsea because, as you've said, he's coming like a Russell Martin, not as bad as Russell Martin, Christ, or like not those levels, but everyone already is talking and saying he's not ready, he's not ready, he's not ready, blah blah blah, blah. Like he's already got that narrative, and then when that narrative starts to basically play itself out on the pitch, and we're losing games, and as you said, right, we'll get into the table now. We could actually finish the season mid-table.
Mm.
So suddenly, if we finish the season mid-table, we don't win the FA Cup. We're suddenly going, hold on, what the hell has happened? And then again, you clearly Rosini is not the issue here. I think anyone with a brain cell realizes there's deeper issues than just Rosini.
Well, this is a third loss in a row in the league. All right, there's still a cup semi-final to look forward to. This guy could win a trophy before Mikel Arteta. Let's make this clear. All right, not bad for half a year. All right, it's three losses in a row. You know, then you look at that, four losses in five. It's not great, and we're adding on the Champions League there. But there is only so much a manager can do. The players also have to take responsibility, not a leader amongst the bunch, many would argue. But what's concerning me is that you're 4 points off Liverpool and they're not that great. You've still got to play Liverpool. You've still got to play Man United. So you win those two games, okay, you could be looking at 54 odd points. You could climb back. But then you look behind you. The worst thing is who's breathing down your neck. Brentford are only 1 point away. Everton 1 point. Brighton, Sunderland 2 points. Bournemouth, they're 3 points off of you, and then you can go down to Fulham, who are four.
Yeah,
I know I haven't.
literally.
You could have a double check on how many of those you've got to play, but
Well, it's
you've
yeah,
got to get
it's
something.
it's 6 points. We're 6 points off 14th place, right? And two of those teams, Brighton and Sunderland, who are now 2 points behind us, we have to play away. I honestly think we've got the toughest run. I need to do a proper,
You do.
again, correct me if I'm wrong, and in the comments if you think I'm wrong, tell me. I think we have the toughest run, arguably, of any team in the Prem.
I would say you do. And to be fair though, this is where I think the toughest runs a lot of teams actually do quite well. This is your chance to show your mettle. This is a chance for players to step up, in my
Yeah, but
opinion.
teams don't do it when they're on a losing streak of 4 out of 5, when there's a lot of negativity about the club and when there's pressure on the manager. I think it normally goes the other way where we keep losing and then the manager gets sacked. That's the concern. That is the concern. Um, but it's a real tough one because again, if we put in that first 45-minute performance against any of those teams, we beat them, in my opinion. So it's a bit of a weird one.
Mm. And Jamie, what do you think? What does this result, mean for City? You said this was the big banana skin. Let's be blunt here. Surely you're going to go on to win this league now. The most underperforming City side under Pep look like they're on for a domestic treble. That's
It got it.
that's
I
grim.
someone said it today, and I'm like, like they heard the domestic treble, and I'm like, it's just funny. Where I've said it myself. I don't think this team's good enough to win the league. Now we are going up a gear, and this is kind of what I'm expecting, sort of for next year. This is what I was expecting, really, us to go up a level, where players are gelling a bit more, been there for a bit longer. That's what I expected for next season. It's still, you've got to remember, it's still in Arsenal's hands as well as City's now, because let's say we beat Arsenal, let's say we win 1-0, just a simple win result, it comes down to the goal difference. And that's where things can get very, very tight. It could take one game where we play Burnley and we go and batter them. But it could also be the opposite where Arsenal go and batter someone. So that's where it does just become sort of, I don't know, a shootout in a way. It's sort of like both of these teams need to win. Today was we had to win because Arsenal dropped points. We had to win, and because we've got Arsenal next, we have to keep up the pressure on Arsenal. And actually, I actually do agree. I think this is we have to keep the pressure on the fans, their fans, because when I was watching the game versus Bournemouth, the toxicity at the Emirates when there's a misplaced pass here and there is awful. And no wonder the players make more misplaced passes or pass the ball back to Raya so much. It's because they're scared of making mistakes because of how much they get on their back. And sometimes you need to try and make that like Cherky's ball to Guehi. It's sort of like a bit of a risky pass, but sometimes you've got to make that in order to get the chance to score the goal. And I think that's why we've got to keep up the pressure. We don't have a game midweek. Arsenal do, so that gives us a bit of fresh sort of ways. I was worried today that Silva was going to be banned, suspended for it because if he got booked today, he was out for the Arsenal game. So I was screaming, get him off when we're 2-0 up because Silva loves a sort of, I'm just going to trip him up or whatever. But I think he did get reminded on the pitch about the 60th minute of going, you can't get a booking. So it was quite funny in that sort of way. In terms of us winning the league, I think we have to beat Arsenal. If we draw that game, it's all in Arsenal's hands again, and nothing we can do. We can only just play out the rest of our games. I think Arsenal will come and try and sort of play for more of a drawish, but that's fine. That suits them. A draw is what they need. I think we've got so much momentum going though that it scares Arsenal. I truly believe at the moment the fans at least are actually scared, which is great to see. I
The
want
players are scared. The players are scared, 100%. They are rattled. I don't care what any BS gaslight Arteta comes out with.
he's
They
got to
are
defend them, doesn't he?
absolutely rattled.
He's
They
got
are rattled.
Arteta's going to come out and defend them. Let's be honest. That's what
Yeah,
every
yeah,
manager
yeah.
should do, anyway. So, but yes, you could. I think Rory talks football went and spoke to some of the players after. I think it was Jokeres, and he said the vibes are low. Was basically the gist of it, which is great news. So I hope they're all watch. I hope they all tuned in for Super Sunday, saw us beat Chelsea 3-0, and they're more worried. And hope the vibes are rock bottom, and it can be after we beat them.
There we go. So everything's in City's hands. But Jordan, where does this leave Chelsea? Is there a Champions League on the horizon? Is there a Europa League? Or is there Conference League? Or is there just going to be Premier League top 10?
I think we might be running it back with our boys FC Noah in the Conference League at this rate. No, look, I've been optimistic for most of the season. I've been positive where people have been extremely negative. But right now, in this moment, I'm looking at form, I'm looking at the league table, I'm looking at our fixtures, and I'm not feeling great about things, if I'm being honest. Um, we have got the quality in our squad at the end of the day. We've got more quality than, Brentford, Everton, Brighton, Sunderland, Bournemouth, Fulham. all of those guys, but something has to happen. Something needs to change. I don't know what that is, but something needs to change because the way we're playing at the minute, we're playing at 70% capacity, 70% effort, 70% everything, and we're just not we're not looking dangerous at all. So where it leaves us, I mean, it leaves us in sixth place, but if something doesn't change, this could end up being an absolutely disastrous end to the season,
I do want
and
to
we'll
give you a bit
probably
of a positive, Jordan, because
go on.
obviously it's not been a good day. I have just checked, and if Villa win the Europa League, sixth place will get the Champions League spot.
Mm,
So at the moment, and let's say Villa win it, who I think are favourites too, you're actually in a Champions League spot, which is mental.
come on.
Mental to be sixth place, getting it. Like you don't deserve
Yeah.
it. I'll be honest with you. You come
No, no.
sick. You come sixth. You should not be in the Champions League. But that's a whole different matter of it. But I do think the next game against United, I think sums up whether you get sixth place at least or you don't. If you lose to United,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you get it.
I
That
think if
that
we lose to United, he gets sacked, and I think we're done. We're cooked. We're
No,
absolutely cooked. Like
I,
we're
I
finishing mid-table if we
I
lose to
don't, I
United.
don't think he's going to be sacked. I think they've given him the dreaded vote of confidence, but I don't think he's going to be sacked. What it does, a win against United, puts pressure on Liverpool, who, of course, go to Everton next week, which is, of course, the first Merseyside derby in the Hill Dickinson Stadium. So that should be all incentive that you need. But the reality is yeah, it's not in your hands. You know, you got to rely. You shouldn't have to rely on other teams to do it. You just got to focus on getting the job done. But there we go. That's all we have time for. So, what do you make of today's game, folks? Are you, a disappointed Chelsea fan or an elated Chelsea fan? Or are you, a City fan licking your lips at the prospect of playing Arsenal next week? Which will be the topic of our next discussion, because, of course, that is the title decider, even though the title is already over. So, let us know what you think. Make, of course, you like, share, and subscribe to Lost in Possession podcast. Jordan, sign it off.
You know the drill.